tell people all the time, your doctor is trying to put you on something or suggest something to you. They should tell you what they're suggesting, why they're suggesting it, what this should do, and what happens is, what to look out for if things go bad. So that's kind of the long-winded answer to your question.
And that's where you come in, wives, to affirm us emotionally that we are enough, and you want just us. So if you were just in that thing 30 seconds, she's good. She still loves you. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, hey, tomorrow I gotta come back.
What's good? What's good, brothers? Welcome to another episode of Apartment 4A. Welcome back. We took a little break right here at the start of the spring as we get into our full year of being on the air. We've had our anniversary on our last show. We had some good time. So one by one, fellas, what's going on? Eric, what's good, man?
Nothing much, man. Just dodging tornadoes and rain and all that stuff. Normal Alabama stuff.
I feel you. Willie D, what's the deal?
Hey, man, I'm here, live and in full effect. Coming about that rain. I thought we was going to get some rain today in Clinton to wash the pollen off my truck. No rain.
No rain. It's been raining in Jackson for 3 days. I ain't seen a drop.
Man.
Yeah, we got to taste this evening. We're supposed to get some more tomorrow, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah. Mr. Change is coming. JP, how things going, man?
Man, shout out to my Lakers. Yeah. We're finna get ready to climb up the playoff seed. Hey, we're finna take it over. New World Order. Wolfpack. Woo! We ready, baby. Let's get it.
We finally made the play.
Let's go, Rod.
So Lakers, man, let's get it.
Let's go, Rod.
Everybody on the team hurt. Stay hurt. Both the nose like yesterday.
Hey, we finna get it. Let's go.
They better not let us in. They let us in, we win.
That's it. Hey, I just want to get in, baby. That's all that matters.
Not let us in, we win. I'm with you. What's good, bro? How you been? I know Terrence is he is on the bicycle peddling the internet to his house, so we'll see what next in. I had a number. I let him call in. JP, what's good, man? How you been?
I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Whenever John's the camera off, he eating dinner.
But he sounded so dry. I'm doing all right. How y'all doing?
The pollen about to kill me. About to take me.
Pollen real, man.
Hey, you said about it didn't do it. So hey, crank up, turn up.
There you go. Crank up. Saying you trying to get in there, I thought I saw your mic unmute.
We didn't give him a pass. He got a big weekend coming up. So.
He got a weekend coming up.
Do got a big weekend for all that don't know, Mr. Terrence Taylor is getting ready to say I do. And so we're excited for that. All of us are gonna try to make it down. We're enjoying that. I bought my dancing shoes. I'm ready. Let's get it.
Getting the dancing shoes and getting the background story together. Get it tight.
Oh yeah. I mean, the story legit. We already know what happened. I don't know why people act like it wasn't true, but I remember being hard and Terrence walking up to that Delta, and she just kind of brushed them off or whatever, But it's all good, we ain't gonna hold it against what goes around. It came right back around, and boom, here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I remember it was Etouffee Day in the comics.
I was in the library.
Yeah, that's what Willie was always with. See, that's accurate. That's accurate, man.
It was pretty much freshman year. Willie was always in the library. Somebody had to go make sure it was still standing.
I'm telling you, keep them in business.
Yeah. So today's episode, man, we started something new. We're gonna start a little series. Oh, hey, Felicia.
And my sister.
Hey, shout out. Thank you for support.
Yeah.
We starting off a little series here. This week's episode is about greatest of all time. We're gonna establish what is the greatest of all time, not who. We'll talk about who in the next couple of episodes and very different topics or genres. So we're gonna do sports, comedy, movies, TV shows. We can always go back to chicken, even though
no, because we almost had.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it simple, you know.
We almost had a fight break out over.
Hold on. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? Your Dodger chicken calling.
Eric, I plan on. I have to go to the coast next Friday to work.
Next Friday.
And
we're gonna go live.
Chicken at Dodgers.
I'm gonna go get some. I know what Dodgers is here. We'll go get some. We'll go live.
Yeah.
I'll even do this. I go get the Dodgers, and then I go get the crispy crunchy.
We can do it, and we can compare wings on wings. We'll see what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, compare them and improve the crispy crunchies better.
When y'all get the Dodgers, I'm gonna be waiting on the phone call with the apologies.
You ain't gonna have to wait on no phone call.
When your life has changed.
I don't care if we at work or not. I'm sending the link.
No, but see, they go to the bias. That's not right. See, y'all can't taste the chicken, and because you already thinking the Dodgers not the best, you need to let Karen or somebody else. They need to eat the chicken. You just need to hide the chicken. Say this is the chicken, and which one you like the best. Boom. That's how you determine.
My taste buds work just fine.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
I like Dodger chicken, but I heard Johnny's chicken pretty good too.
Who?
And them Jonathan wings, they was hitting, man.
They were pretty good. They pretty good.
Oh.
They look like they're fried hard to me.
Hey, don't worry about that, man. You know how the light skin goes.
I saw the picture of the ones at the end. By the time he got through frying chicken, after he fried 200 pieces, they might have been.
We went a little overboard.
Right,
you know, we had a couple extra pieces.
Just a little bit, Garrett. Just a little bit.
It's better to have too much than too little.
Enough to feed me all week long.
Hey,
You welcome.
Hey,
There's that little.
hey, instead of the fish and the bread, you got chicken. You had chicken for a whole week. No Popeyes for you. So you
chicken
good.
alcohol.
we try to help you. As much Popeyes you eat, we try to help you.
I'm telling you, homemade always healthier, man. So they say, you know.
So, greatest of all time. What is the greatest of all time? Somebody explain. Just when you hear greatest of all time, what do you think of?
I think you are the upper echelon of whatever subject matter we are talking about, whether it's music, movies, comedy, playing at Bond Hall, which I think I got that award. But hey, I'm talking.
Okay.
What's up, bro?
Hey, Rod, we need to invest in a mute button.
I got one.
Hey, but the greatest of all time is the upper echelon, the best of the best. You feel me?
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it's when someone mentions something and you, the person or the object or whatever that is thought of first. Like if I say something about wrestling, I know I'm thinking of the Undertaker, so I feel like that is the greatest of all time. So when you think of somebody or something first, when it comes up with sports or music or whatever, that is the greatest of all time.
Undertaker terrible.
I ain't gonna say he's terrible. He ain't the greatest. But anyway.
Oh no. We'll say that.
Yeah.
What's up, Demetrius?
What's going on, Britt? But yeah, man, to me, the greatest of all time means it can only be one. You can't have multiple greatest of all time. So in my eyes, it's somebody who, by whatever margin, comes out on top as like the greatest to ever do it, right? So of course you got to come up with your parameters, but I mean that's who it is. That one person that's king of the hill.
Okay. JP, what's the greatest? When you hear greatest of all time, what do you think of?
Whenever I hear the word greatest of all time, I always think about this guy by the name of Joshua Buffers. And I kind of think about what he's done and how he's impacted the game. But in reality, but
Scrabble.
But
Uno.
Uno, hey, I'm the king. But honestly, I think the greatest of all time is two standards to it. It goes back to championships and how have they impact the game. How have they impact? Not just have records, but how have they impact the game? They got to have rings and they got to impact the game. Okay. Or change the game. Change the game. That's probably a better way. How have they changed the game?
JP and Air brought up some valid points. Like, when you're looking at the greatest of all time and whatever that criteria is. So, and when you're looking at it, JP kind of said it. Are you looking at which one is weighted more, I guess would be my question. The accolades or being on top? Like, for example, let's take baseball. I won't get into the ones that we watch the most. So let's take baseball. Okay. Would the fact that you have the record of hits, whether it's for the team or for the season, or the amount of championship, which one is weighted more?
Championships.
Yeah. Once you get on the mountaintop, there's nothing else like it. No, but hear me out. It's like, I've been on the mountaintop, but never been on as a head. So, but I'm looking at my other friends or other people that's been there as a head. So I consider them ghosts because they've been up there, they've won several. And, so I'm trying to get on their level. It doesn't matter if I win 1,000 games. If you ain't never been to the top and won it and dominated while you was up there, no, that's the standard. It don't matter about the records. No, the ships, baby.
So I say it depends on the kind of. I guess if we're gonna talk about sports, it depends on the sport. In my eyes, baseball is kind of one of the most individual team sports. It is, right? True. I can hit bombs all day, but if I gotta rely on everybody else on the field to do their job, the defense, the pitcher, the catcher, the baseman, shortstops, like you have so little ability to win a game by yourself in baseball. But if I'm putting it in the stands every time, you can't just X me out, the greatest of all time talk, just because my team may perform well. I think that's kind of different. But if you on like a more symbolized sport, especially basketball, where you're playing both sides of the ball, then it's more of you have a bigger impact on the whole team overall.
I think even with baseball, though, especially in any sports, I think it's about your individual, performance. Whether it's sports, whether it's music, whether it's being a speaker or whatever. Regardless of what the team does, it's about your individual performance. Like you could be Mr. I hit all the hits or get on base or home runs, but if you're out on the field and you dropping pop flies and you can't feel the ball, that's 1-on-1 too. Exactly. Like you can't be the greatest if you airing all. Yeah, you might be driving in runs, but you can't feel it all.
Yeah,
like you allow.
Yeah, I agree with Eric. It's a lot of things individual. I know JP went with the sports topic, but I think you should be a GOAT and not be on a team. Just like when we get into comedians, they're not on teams. They're just individual people that are like the greatest comedian ever. So I for instance, example, Destiny Child. Beyonce might have been the GOAT to somebody, but she was also part of a group. So you can't just say it's about winning championships if none of them won, but she was still, as some people might say, the GOAT.
Well, I also said how they dominated or changed the game, and that goes back to whatever you're talking about. How I think you the GOAT if you made a major impact on how you changed the game.
I agree with that.
So Demetrius said he thinks more than one. The GOAT greats of all time. Sorry, greats of all time. So Demetrius said he believes there's more than one. I just don't think you can be more than one GOAT. I mean, you the GOAT, you that guy.
That's the easy way out, Frank.
Yeah, it's easy to pick two people, maybe three.
No,
you gotta be that guy.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have a GOAT A and a GOAT B.
Yeah,
no.
So then you gonna be like, okay, which one is the greatest GOAT of all time?
Yeah. If GOAT A and GOAT B went head to head, who gonna win? Because you want to know who the top.
It's gonna be a draw.
Yeah.
You know how they say they give you GOAT A and GOAT B. What's gonna happen? GOAT B gonna get 8.
But see, we go back to the standards. You know, what's the standard that you're chasing? What's the standard that you're aiming for? That, like I said, I think that what separates anybody from being a GOAT.
So let me ask you this then: how much does your colleagues? How much do they weigh? Like, you listen to, like, for example, John was talking about comedians, greatest comedians all the time. Okay. Every comedian has always said, oh, this person is the greatest. And then the next comedian may say this person is the greatest. Like, for example, you ask Kevin Hart, he may say Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle may say Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy may say Richard Pryor, so on and so on, based on who might have came from, who inspired them, whatever. And they all may say Richard Pryor, for whatever the case may be. Do your colleagues' opinion, how much is that weight?
That's a good question, Rod. I think it weighs a lot. For example, do y'all remember Anthony Carlisle? He went to Southern Miss with us.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Sound familiar.
Oh,
yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
He won 6.
He the one. How many he won?
He won 6.
Yeah. And so, like, I text him, I'm like, dude, you the GOAT, and I had other people that, that know Carlisle as well. And, we was in discussion and we like, man, you look how young you doing and you the GOAT, look, you good. You've been to 4 schools and you won 4 championships. You're undefeated when you get there, man. And you ain't just taking all superior talent. You know what I mean? You've been building. So, but your peers have a lot into it as well.
Well, and he may say his dad to go because he won 6. His dad won 7 over his basketball career. And most of everything that he was taught, I'm sure he learned directly from his dad.
True.
His dad won 7.
True.
And just one of those things, how much do what your colleagues think weigh? Because I mean, you look at any sport, any competition, food, whatever, whoever you say the greatest, most of the time they say, yeah, I'm great, but so and so before me was the one that inspired me and taught me, whatever. But at what point do you believe what your colleagues start to say? Like, if every time you go around, somebody keeps saying you the greatest, at what point do you go, yeah, you probably
oh man, I don't know. To be that, right? Yeah, now privately probably all the time. I mean, but you still want to present yourself. You want to have some type of humbleness to yourself when you're out in public. But I mean, if that's you and you the man, you got it. I mean, sometimes you're gonna have to put it out there and be like, it's me. You want to be him. You want to be the man. You got to beat the man. You feel me?
So there's been people out there who have taken on the manner of being the top guy. I ain't gonna give you no examples because it's gonna mess up some of the arguments later.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep my mouth quiet.
But there have been some examples of people going, I'm that guy, publicly, not just something they do in private, publicly. Like I tell y'all all the time, I'm the best cook out of all y'all. So, and y'all have to accept that, and it is what it is.
Hey, you got Madison on lock, brother.
We can put the poll up right now. put it on the screen.
Hey, as of right now, Jonathan's the only one in the running. He's the only one that's a cook.
Well, Tan said he got an award. He's in the competition by himself.
Hey, so that goes back. If you got the award, do that make you the greatest?
I'm just saying. He got an extra award.
He got a trophy. He got a ribbon or something.
We definitely got to set up some parameters on that.
So I mean that's just the thing, man. A lot of people come in talking about the GOATs, trying to figure out who is this and who is not, and trying to put themselves in a better situation. So I'm gonna ask you this: can you be considered the greatest of all time because of your consistency? Let me see. Here's something that I've seen here recently. I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos. I guess I can talk about this and we can go in more details if we want to make this a subject. But there's been a lot of videos about Jay-Z, how he has never been the top rapper any year of his career. They go through the whole year and every year they pick somebody else, whether it's 50 or Eminem or Tupac when he started, Tupac and Biggie, Nas. Every year they say he was never the one. Lil Wayne, Kanye, but he was always consistently. He might not have been the one, but he was consistently in the top 3 every year. Where every year it was Tupac, Biggie, maybe Jay-Z. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just going down the line. Then next year, they talking about, whoever, Jay-Z, Outkast, whatever, or they talking Eminem, 50 and Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z and DMX, so on and so on. If he was never considered the top one during the year, can he be considered the greatest all time? Because he was consistently always in the top 3.
No, I jump out on the ledge. No, you got to bring the ship. You got to win it. You got to win it. You got to be the top. You got to be on top.
Yeah, you can't be the greatest if you weren't never on that mountaintop.
I mean,
that's a part of that's got to be part of the resume. Like being close. Anybody ever talk about the second place?
You the first loser.
Yeah, the GOAT in the second place don't go together.
And I mean, Jay-Z, he's up there, and depending on who you talk to and from what region,
definitely regional.
He's gonna be the GOAT to somebody. You feel me?
I say I ain't never been no establishment that was bumping Jay-Z at all.
Well, they used to play it in the club.
I don't know. I think about Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson didn't win American Idol, but she was the GOAT in Dreamgirls. I mean, she sang better than everybody else on the movie.
Oh yeah, that's a limited pool though. That's
So one nobody not gonna keep up with her anyway.
Well, I guess
Beyonce was in
voice.
Ain't nobody ever been.
Wait a minute. I think I'm hearing some animosity toward Beyonce a little bit.
You ain't hearing that from me, man. You ain't hearing that from me. I ain't.
We talking about vocal talents.
I ain't finna bother the behind.
I mean, I say it. Beyonce is not the greatest R&B singer of all time.
Ooh, them bees coming for you.
It ain't gonna hurt my
feelings. Not by a long shot. She's a performer.
She's a performer. She's most definitely a performer.
Yeah, she a performer. Of course, with the budget, you get the theatrics and all that stuff. But just singing, you put her on the stage, tell her stand still and sing. You're gonna leave her impressed.
I'm not saying
that ain't her bag,
but she just ain't the greatest.
She know that though. She don't try to get in that bag like that. She get up there and dance and roll, and flip, swing out.
So
that's wise.
Not to jump too deep into some of those, but let's look at Jonathan's example just to kind of get us rolling, or at least prepare us for what's coming on these next couple episodes. Jonathan's talking about Jennifer Hudson, how she did not win American Idol. Is she the greatest American Idol contestant? She didn't win it.
No, sir. Fantasia Barrino. Don't talk to me.
Shout out to the Stephen Gamma Rose and they're doing
Come on, man.
Fantasia.
I tell you, the greatest. More American
She the greatest. She the greatest poodle to ever go on American Idol.
She wasn't no poodle then. She the greatest.
No poodle then. All right, you say Fantasia. Jonathan, who you say?
The greatest American Idol?
Yeah, American Idol.
I like Jennifer Hudson.
Jennifer Hudson, Fantasia.
But I like Fantasia too.
You can't. The greatest.
I want to change my vote.
No. You gotta keep it. No, you gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. You gotta keep it. Wait till everybody go first.
I'll try to remember.
Wait till everybody go first.
Yeah,
Wait till everybody go.
I think we'll need a little more time to research that. We forgetting some people.
No, we are forgetting some people, but like John,
right now, all I can think about is Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson, and Ruben Stubb.
Yeah,
I know more than that.
Yeah, y'all forget about Kelly Clarkson though.
Yep.
Hey, look, I felt the same way you felt, Willie, but
Kelly Clarkson overall.
A clip. So
no, we talking about American Idol. We ain't talking about her career.
But American Idol made her career. Without American Idol, ain't no Kelly Clarkson career.
But she wasn't the greatest American Idol contestant.
Are you when you say contestant? Are you saying had the greatest American Idol performances, or just like
I'm just saying
overall whole career?
Oh, see, I'm going by strictly American
Idol.
Idol.
What I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. So I definitely got to run the footage back. I don't remember all the performances at all.
But when we talking about greatest of all time, what ways? What all do you do? Do you look at it just as just American Idol, or the totality of the fact that they did American Idol, they became this star and went on to do whatever? Ricardo say Carrie Underwood.
I listen to a little Carrie Underwood every now and then.
Yeah, she definitely had more mainstream appeal.
He said that Kelly Clarkson sold 14 million. Carrie had sold 16 million. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what Carrie right now. I know Kelly Clarkson got a talk show and she be singing the roof off that thing. But yeah, man, listen.
Actually, say if we're talking of all time, then the people who were at the top will fell off afterwards. Technically, aren't the greatest of all time. So you got the people who won the chip, but never got back. But you got somebody who consistently was there. Do they not get that credit?
No, they ain't get the chip. They just been there.
Yeah, like
you gotta have been on the mountaintop at least once.
Guy. You just couldn't. You could never get over the hump.
Well, you cannot be the great.
Yeah, you can't be you can't be the guy. If it's people that have achieved something like higher than what you achieved.
You got the hump on the other side of the hump.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you had somebody that was consistently number 2, except for one time, they won one chip, and all the rest of the time they were consistently number 2. They won the top. They've been the top person.
Yeah.
And then they were consistent.
So I'm gonna say this, and see it don't matter the circumstances. If you the GOAT, once you win it, it's something that's what make greatness come out of you, because you finding ways to win it when you against all odds. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot. It takes some luck sometimes, but just because you've been there a lot, you got to win it more than once. You got to win it consistently.
So Demetrius says, so the GOAT is based on a time frame.
Or can the GOAT change? Because I mean, depending on like we saying, you win your championship, you being consistent here and there, and like Ash was saying, they fall off. So if one GOAT falls off, then somebody has to step up, or do you just don't have a GOAT?
So but go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
I think it depends on who you compare them to, right? So depending on the arena, if you got a guy that won it once and has been in contention a lot, but there's nobody else who's like dominated in a better way, then he could still be the GOAT technically. But if you got somebody who'd have been, back to back or multiple times and figured out how to win it, then he out the conversation at that point. He or she's out the conversation. So I think it depends on the competition what they've accomplished.
Okay. So Ashley say, I think there are too many biases that create a barrier for certain people to actually win, but there are consistently people that we feel were snubbed in some ways. Okay. Ricardo says best peak or longevity. And I guess my thing is, to me, the GOAT conversation is in all totality. To me, I can't consider you the GOAT until your career is done. Because I feel like if you're still going and still doing stuff, then you're still adding to your legacy. And so what if we think you the GOAT right now, and then for the next 5 years, you're doing whatever, you just completely bombing. I mean, it's terrible. Like, you can't still be the GOAT because you did all this great stuff, and then at the end, you were just garbage. Like,
so by your argument right now, you wouldn't consider, and I know you probably wouldn't anyway, you wouldn't consider LeBron James a GOAT because he's still playing.
That's not the only reason I would consider LeBron James the GOAT, but I wouldn't. He wouldn't be. I understand.
He tried to get it going, didn't he?
I'm just wondering because see, I was considering Tom Brady a GOAT before he even decided that he was going to officially retire. So I was just asking, like you said, you can't be a GOAT and still be in the game.
So the funny thing is, they say he might be coming back to the Dolphins.
he retired.
Talk about Tom Brady.
Because you know, we throw around a lot of titles. Like we gave what's the name? The Queen of Soul. I can't. Her name just popped out of my head right then. Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul. But at the same time, you got my girl over there just standing, and I'm like, Patti LaBelle. Like, I like Patti LaBelle a lot more than I like Aretha Franklin. So I don't know. But she's still in the game. But you can't. By your point, you can't call her to go because she's still in the game.
But see, I like his question. What he said, is it peak or longevity? And I think, and like what Rod is saying, just because you in it for a while, it diminishes your how you dominate. If it's music career or whatever it may be, the longer you go, if you're not dominating, you're not. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Rod, I go about your peak. How you dominate during that peak era?
Yeah, and that's how, like, when LeBron is said and done, for example, I'm not gonna look at LeBron based on what he did necessarily when he first got in the league, or necessarily what he did at the end. I'm gonna take his best 10 and compare. And one of his best 10 may be in the next 5 years. Or however long he decided to play, whatever. My just thing is, like, you consider somebody a GOAT for a period of time that they're doing, but if their career is still going, it ain't over. Like, are we just gonna take what they greatness they had at one period of time and say that's it? That's what make them the GOAT, even though they continue to do other stuff. Because when we do arguments against somebody being the GOAT, we talk about them years at the back where they ain't so great. Everybody could, what about when they was in this and that and weren't doing that? So we compare the person you think that's not the GOAT on their worst time versus the person you think is the GOAT. You talk about their greatest moments.
Oh no, I think it depends, right? Because if you have somebody that's able to put together, like, they have their time, right? Maybe it's 2, 3, 4 amazing years where they're doing stuff that nobody has ever done. And then after that, they're still able to play, but not at the same level. I think it's kind of hard to discount them doing something nobody else was able to do because of they weren't able to do that their entire career, but they didn't just walk away at the end of their greatness.
But I think consistency makes you is a key point to it, though.
Yeah, and that's why I said, they're able to do it for 3 or 4 years. That's difficult to do in any sport.
Yeah, I mean, anything. You can be the best cook, or whatever, the best songwriter. I mean, And I agree to a point where if you say, like, and I use him for example, I'm sure we may talk about him again. We have before. I'm gonna use R. Kelly for the example. Okay. I know how controversial that may be, but if you look at R. Kelly and his whole thing before the sex tapes and all this stuff, and you look at it and say, okay, based on what he's done, he's the greatest. And if you say, because of what he done, regardless if he finished or not, you don't have anybody that can compare. That's different. If you say it don't matter that he's still writing or singing, if you can't even find somebody to compare, I get it. But if you got somebody that can compare to it, and that person is still adding to their legacy, then you got to me, you have to wait.
That's fair. I agree with it.
Get to some of these comments. It says, Ashley say, I think some people can be a GOAT without it being the end of their career because careers last for various amount of times. And I get that. Yeah. So Ricardo and Demetrius are in here. So so Bron is the GOAT. So AI ain't a GOAT.
Let's save those conversations.
Ricardo, AI is an influencer and the game changer, but not a GOAT. So I mean, it's just And the thing, go ahead, Willie.
I said that's the whole thing about the conversation of the GOAT. It's so subjective to who's speaking on it. You know.
Yeah.
That's why it's always gonna be barbershop talk, barbershop arguments about the GOAT. It's just when you get to defining it, it's always well we got to count this, but we can't leave this out, this and that. So you know. Can in some cases are there a universal agreement on this is the GOAT? In some cases,
can we?
In y'all opinion,
I feel like everybody. I feel like we should come up with a parameter of this is the GOAT and this is how it's weighed. Like for example, if we took boxing, for example, and we said we're gonna do the boxing and knockouts weigh this much, so a person that had this many knockouts get this many points. Person with this many just regular TKOs wins, championships, longevity. You know, you take it all, you make it a point system, and at the end, the person with the highest points, regardless of biases, that's who to go.
Yeah, that's really the only way to do it.
I still think, like you said, you know, and you're right. But whoever dominate or change, you know, make just, you know, and it goes back to era too. That's one thing that you really can't, because I can't talk about Bill Parrish, you know what I'm saying, or Larry Bird, because I wasn't as active watching it. So only thing I can talk about is 88 on up to where we're in now. So I mean, it just, that's why I say whoever dominated. You know, I don't know. Like you said, it's too much. It's a lot you can add with it, man.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of variables, and then sometimes it's not an actual stat that's tracked.
Oh yeah,
somebody to go. Cause you think about what made Michael great. He got some of the stats, but also just the impact he had on people around him, like the fear that people had, the respect, like. When you start talking about what JP was talking about, like, well, what did his peers say about him? Black Jesus. That's what they called him.
Yeah, I saw it.
Like they were terrified of that man.
You talking about Michael Jackson, right?
No.
We talking about Daniel Jackson.
He might have been Maze Jesus.
Nobody over the age of 21 was scared of Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
Oh, I was at the Thriller. Never saw him the same.
But yeah, man, I think that's this is just so much you can consider.
Now, Frost Matthew, this is a very good point. How do you distinguish between your favorite and the GOAT? That's a very good question.
The GOAT is my favorite.
A lot of times we get into a GOAT discussion. You talk about favorite.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Man. That's like what we talked about with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand how many Jay-Z songs I've ever heard. And I've been like, you know what? That's a jam. He really going off on that. Now you start talking about Outkast, the Lil Wayne, but I'm from the South. I know people up north that right now we be tussling in the parking lot because I was talking bad about Jay-Z. So I think, regional biases and all kind of stuff factor in.
I know about as many Jay-Z songs just like I know of Nick Cannon song.
What? Nick Cannon got this song. I'm a gigolo.
And that's the only song you know. What's the
I know, right? Nick Cannon was rapping on it, don't we?
Oh man, that's terrible.
I go download.
I agree here. That's awful, man. I just vomited.
Nick Cannon go to have them babies.
He ain't even go to that.
So like y'all saw the dude, he was on social media past couple weeks. He had like 30, 40 kids or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he took like a picture with all of them. It was massive. I was like, "Oh Lord,
that's wild."
My chest.
Yeah, I was like, "Dang, I might go get some water. This is tough."
Need more than one.
So, I want to ask this question. I know we have a few ladies watching it. Typically, when we hear about the greatest of all time, typically it's a male-dominant question. So I'm curious, Ashley or any other lady that are watching, do you guys ever talk about who's the greatest of anything? If so, I like to hear what give me an example of the greatest of whatever that y'all may discuss. Because I know for us, we do sports, we do fighting, comedians, movie, it don't matter what it is. I mean, we get out there and argue over who got the best set of tires.
Exactly. It don't matter what it is.
Who can skip rocks the farthest?
You know what I'm saying? We don't care. You're gonna be the GOAT. You're gonna be the GOAT or something.
I'm telling you.
Gotta be the GOAT at something.
That's a good question, right? This is a good question, right?
Yeah, it is.
You got me thinking that.
I don't know if I ever heard a conversation like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Women, they were ruthless.
Actually, a politician.
Politician in Huntsville.
Hey, that's our PR manager for a reason.
I see. Good job.
Yeah, it is International Women's Day. I'm sorry we didn't start off with that. It is International Women's Day. So shout out to all the women. We appreciate all that you have done. Oh, okay, Ricardo. We might have to talk. Kristen later is in the Hall of Fame. That's a small part of the GOAT conversation. And
what?
we talking about college basketball. We ain't talking about NBA. Hey, as a college basketball player, he was unstoppable.
Yeah, I think it was another question somebody asked about the Hall of Fame and Chris Lynch was the truth in college.
So now JP brought up something about greatest of all time. I want to see if we want to kind of put this into consideration. He said he can't look at an era that he didn't watch. For example, he didn't watch Robert Parrish play. He might have caught a little bit of Magic, a little bit of Bird, but he didn't really see them play at that peak. So do we consider people, or are we going to consider greatest of all time that are out of our era?
I think if you're going to call them the greatest of all time, you cover all eras because time literally consists of eras. So you gotta factor that in. I think you got to consider the competition as well, though. I mean,
I'm kind of with JP. I mean, people from different eras that we may not have been able to witness like that. I mean, it kind of because we got favorite players of the past, which you might want to throw in the conversation. But it depends on who you debating with. Now, if you debating with somebody from that era that watched it, they can break it down. Well, they wasn't the GOAT because of this, or they was the GOAT because of that. Because I was there, I witnessed, I saw stats, this and that. So I think it's kind of hard depending on who you like us. Now we can, but even with us talking about it amongst us, it's gonna be biased, because I think it's kind of a favoritism thing. We wasn't there to really watch it, so we know, we like, for a certain reason.
Actually, you can't go back to all areas.
Jesus. How we get to Jesus?
Say nobody sang a better note.
he the grapes. He the grapes.
So, well, and so for sports, yes, that can play a factor. But what about something like being a comic? You know, Jonathan, what would you think? Like as a comedian, a lot of us were able to watch Richard Pryor stand up and to watch Eddie Murphy, even though that was before our time. You know, we still was able to go back and actually see that,
right?
Like it was real time for us. Like we ain't nobody really go back and watch no old basketball games, but those old stand-ups or old movies and stuff we did.
So for me, I didn't watch a lot of them. I didn't watch Richard Pryor. I watched Red Fox because of Fred Sanford show. But other than that, I didn't really watch them back in the day. So when I think of great comedian, I think of Lavelle because they're just who I like. But
shout out to the big boys, huh?
Yeah. So I guess it is. It to me it depends on what era you really in. So because I don't know, I don't really like basketball, and so I didn't really watch basketball, and I still don't. So I can't tell you Michael Jordan was the best of all time because I don't know what Michael Jordan did. I just like his shoes. I buy his shoes. But other than that, I can't give him that time.
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan. You buying any LeBrons?
You know what? I'm gonna have to look up and see what kind of shoes LeBron got because I don't know. I might have bought them unknowingly. Are they called LeBrons or what they call?
Yeah, they call LeBron.
Okay, well I don't think I got no LeBrons.
Yeah, he done had shoes for what, 20 years?
Yeah, you ain't even watch basketball. You still bought J's. You bought no
I still bought. Yeah. I like the way they look. I do.
Case closed.
But even when LeBron made that shot that made him beat the record, a lot of people went back and took pictures of his kids and they had on chains. So they didn't wear LeBrons.
I done told my kids not today. I don't know about it.
I'm telling you, y'all better put on a uniform.
Go in that room and get them bruns fresh up the box.
I'm telling you.
And let's go to the game.
Embarrassment. No Taco Tuesday for y'all.
No more. It's over.
Shutting it down.
No, yeah. And you know, and I know a lot of people get caught up. We get caught up on records and stuff like that. You know, if you consider somebody the greatest of whatever they have these records, and the records are broken, are they still the greatest?
And that's the question because LeBron ain't the only one who done beat Jordan in them records in the shot records. So it's like, is Jordan still a GOAT?
So I think the bar for Jordan, obviously the championships, the fact that he was able to do it, twice. It's kind of like this is his career. It's not necessarily like any particular one record. It's just like the way he dominated when he was on top. But I think I'm looking at Ricardo's comment about, he says, imagine Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, etc. with today's nutrition, training, and technology. Once we start getting into trying to transplant people out their era into modern day, then everything kind of fall apart because everything is different, right? Barry Sanders, when they was playing, a defensive lineman, a linebacker, them dudes wasn't running 4.5s and stuff like that. Like it's a totally everybody fast now, stupid fast. Yeah, so it's like, would they have the same performance? Probably not. Like they might have, but the thing is, they might have been able to adapt and find a different way to dominate and make their mark. But you just never know. So it's a difficult conversation. I think you got to start definitely with looking at the resume, but then also like what they're able to do during their time. Yeah. And put some kind of weight on that too.
Well, it's a good point because something like football, just as an example, the past strength have an effect on today's speed. Because like in today's game, everybody's fast. Everybody ain't strong. There's a lot of strong people, don't get me wrong, but everybody's fast. But back then, everybody was fast, but they all were strong.
Yeah. They might be slow and strong, but they were strong.
Yeah. Jim Brown wasn't the fastest running back ever, but he'll run you slap.
Oh yeah. Attempt to murder every down.
So it's one of those things. It's really kind of what you're looking for. Yeah, he probably get hauled down if you were doing a breakaway speed, but you better not be in front of him.
Yeah, I'm kind of like here. Once you start to get into the what ifs situation, then it's gonna muddy the waters, man. It's like because this is gonna open the floodgates. Yeah, you really kind of get into this gray area. Yeah, like hypothesizing. Yeah, but then you can throw all types of scenarios out there. Yeah,
because I'm sure I'd have been the greatest of all time if I was 3 inches taller. There you go. I didn't have enough height. I was
greatest of all time. What?
Yeah, you name it.
What?
A little height go a long way, man. A little height.
Those 3 inches will make all the difference in everything.
Make difference. Get a little taller.
I just want to know, was you going to be the greatest of all time band instrument player or something like that?
Hey,
it'll help.
I'm the greatest baritone that ever graced the field in Southern Miss. I don't know what you're talking
about. That sounds like a challenge.
We can't argue.
Ain't no challenge. I'm the greatest. Ain't no challenge. Name me another baritone that was better.
Who knew another baritone?
That ain't my problem.
You the only baritone we know.
Hey, that ain't my problem. That ain't my problem.
Yeah. I remember some faces in Southern Miss. I can't tell you no name.
Yeah, I can't tell you no name. Save my life, man.
Can't tell you no name.
That's all I'm saying.
That boy from Alabama.
A lot of folks from Alabama.
The boy that brought the was trying to get KKSI back.
He got a checker pass and all that stuff. KKSI and all that stuff happening. And what's the name?
That's why folks calling me out.
Oh, really not the greatest name.
Oh, Richie know. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. He knows up. Asking how many trophies I got on my name in the group me versus how many he got on his. I got two right now.
I ain't gonna say Willie ain't the greatest. All I'm gonna say is I don't know if nobody else can say it. I've beaten Willie more than once.
You did. I do. I never denied. You did. I can accept that from one person. Ain't nobody else beat me. Somebody finna say something, but he ain't. I got the belts to prove it if I need to go get it.
Yeah. He got the belts. I ain't gonna say he ain't got the belts.
Beat that man in the championship. Where he at? Oh, he back. Hey, JP. You remember that day? That's the day I became the GOAT in
JP, he playing with his favorite team that year, the Eagles. I mean, the Patriots.
49. Man ain't know who to pick on the screen.
I say this, Willie, if that gang got the Saints on, he gonna play with the Saints.
Every single time.
I respect that, man.
Not now.
Oh, man.
I done switched it up a little bit.
I take them property.
Hey, just like we talk about things evolve and change.
Got to evolve.
Saints wasn't changing. I had to. I'm gonna go back. I play with a man now.
Hey, y'all got what's his name? Derek Carr now. Y'all can play that thing.
Hey man, that's
Reggie say he can.
Yeah, he did just beat me though. Reggie did beat me. He beat me this season. He beat me, but I still got 2 championships. It ain't about how you start; it's about how you finish.
Man, one of your championships DS. That's all. I'm just leave it there.
Hey, I want it fast square.
No, you didn't. And we weren't even in Bun Hall, dude.
It don't matter.
Yes, it do.
He upset.
I mean,
If he say he want to
JP
run back
really
right
wasn't
now.
that hard to beat. I beat JP.
Oh yeah, John to the go.
Don't go ahead and fade on out, JP.
Man had never even seen a Madden case. Got on the game and beat JP.
What's the buttons? Okay.
Touchdown. It's good.
Oh, that's the touchdown button. Okay.
That's all bad, JP.
That's why you have to dominate your opponent. You can't give nobody no breathing room.
You can't.
Right.
So by saying that, because the Christian Lanier thing just blew me, it blew my mind. I had to go smoke a cigarette or something. Huh?
Christian
Leitner.
Yeah. What I say?
Lanier.
Christian Lanier. I don't know who he played for.
Maybe that's why you so. That's why you were so shook when they said it. Not how you feel knowing it's Christian Leitner.
Right.
Santa Claus. It's Santa Claus.
Christian Lanier. I know he balled out somewhere. Ooh, yeah.
So JP, you don't think Christian Leitner at least is one of the greatest college basketball players of all time?
It had me thinking because he dominated the game. He won a lot of ships. What he won? 3 or 4. And he was a major impact for Duke. So
he was clutch, man.
He was clutch, so I guess the personal side of me don't want to give him that much prop. I can't stand the son of a gun, man. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, if I see him in the street, I just probably just swing off of him for no reason.
So look at it like this, JP. Christian Leitner was the only college player to be on the 1992 Dream Team.
Correct.
The only guy. That's how hooping he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now he didn't play. He didn't play.
He was on the team. Though.
He was on.
I'm gonna blame that on politics. I'm putting that on politics.
It was a PR move.
Yeah, that was a PR move. Him and John Stockton, Larry Bird had to fill it out.
They ain't really have him play at all. They put Christian Leitner after they were beating the team 162. Y'all get it. Like he didn't do nothing.
But he fished the criteria. He won the ships. He dominated the game. He destroyed an era.
Yep.
I can't stand Christian Leitner though.
You gotta take your personal opinion out of the conversation. You gotta give that man props.
So that's what it is. We're gonna sit here. We got a couple more minutes. We're a little past 10, but we started a little late. We appreciate everybody coming in and getting in. Shout out to everybody that's been on: Reggie, Ricardo, Ashley, Demetrius. Who else was on there? Matthew Frost. Shout out to you. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, Brittany and Felicia, for joining. Terrence came in there, got a few links. He said, how long you say all the time? That's all he said. But the only one of us is actual. I don't know what he's trying to get in there, but
talking about the cooking.
Talking about that participation trophy you got me.
No.
That's it.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
So we was talking about the cooking thing, and he was saying he was the only one with the award.
Man, he got into vacation Bible school.
I think some kids made like little macaroni.
In the cooking competition with one person, they made them.
Yeah. It was him and the grill. That was it.
And there was a close race between him and Drake.
So he did dominate.
But actually, that's a good question. Should a pioneer be considered a GOAT even if they don't have longevity? So a pioneer.
No. The man that made basketball was shooting in a peach basket. I appreciate him for making it. He ain't the GOAT.
Hey, Jerry West, he the logo.
He ain't the
GOAT.
He was the logo.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say he definitely left his mark. You know, he got eternal respect.
Hey, Jerry West is the only player to win the MVP in the finals that didn't win the championship.
I say Jerry West is the GOAT, but not just as a player, also as a general manager.
JP, get off the.
There's your sign, gentlemen. Officially past his bedtime.
Comments getting worse and worse.
I'm telling you, we are going down. I don't know what's in that Santa Claus cup.
That's what it is.
So here's the question. Next week, we're going to get ready to start our GOAT conversation. So who wants to pick the first one? Or anybody in the comments got an idea? We even going to do greatest basketball, football, greatest, and we may do 2 or 3. Greatest comedian, greatest chicken, greatest music, greatest whatever the topic may be. You'll have a week to prepare. We look for comments. Anybody that's on, you can put your comments on, guys. What y'all want to do? Who y'all want to attack first?
Man, it depends on how y'all want to start this. Y'all want to start out hot and heavy, where we gonna be fighting, or y'all want to smooth it? Y'all want to work? You want to work this in levels?
Yeah, let's build it up to something that ain't, you know.
I like comedian. Comedy is. I think that's a.
Okay, comedian, greatest comedian all time. Let's get one more just in case we don't get all the way through the hour on a comedian. You know, we might all agree.
You right? Could possibly. I don't think we are, but you know.
I'm pretty sure.
Y'all want to go ahead and throw R&B singing in there?
R&B singing?
Yeah.
Michael Bolton.
I don't think we're gonna fight over that, you know. It ain't. I think before, you know, we gotta do something before we start getting to the sports. You know.
Okay. Yeah. We kind of talked a little bit about the R&B thing a little bit. Bill Cosby, Terrence say Bill Cosby. Come here. Yeah. We most definitely need
who ain't gonna win,
so we can get this one.
We're gonna get canceled before we even get it.
Since Terrence brought that up, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Does someone's criminal activity or anything like that affect their goatness?
It all plays a part.
Can't nobody take the goat away from R. Kelly. I don't care what.
No, I'm saying.
Take the goat away from R. Kelly.
It's hard to say. I mean, like you talked about earlier, like Rob was saying, like if it's no one, give or take criminal back. If there's no one to compare him to in the situation, I mean, by default, they still.
I mean, if you look, you know, Michael Jackson had his criminal activities. R. Kelly had their criminal activities, but to me, they still goats in their own perspective way.
We talked about this a little bit when we did our top 5 R&B singers. And one thing we established was we didn't consider Michael Jackson R&B. We put him in.
Yeah,
he definitely pop.
We put him in pop.
Yeah,
and a lot of us, our ones and twos was conditional. Like most people said R. Kelly. A few people said Usher only because of the severity of R. Kelly's crime. Not because they just felt like Usher was just great, but they felt like the severity of his crime weighed so much that they just knocked him down a level. You know,
who had Usher besides you and Taylor?
I had Usher at 1.
I had Usher at 2.
And I had R. Kelly at 2.
Yeah, I think I had Usher in there too.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I got the list at home. When I get back to the house, I can tell you.
I just don't see. I don't know. You can't. I don't know.
I understand how you can, for the most part, for me, especially when it comes to overall, for the most part, I can separate the individual from the talent. But sometimes the impact that you have on not just a genre, but on the community as a whole, like it plays a part. Like what R. Kelly did, it made people who love R. Kelly literally not listen to his music.
Yeah,
like,
but when you start thinking about other people like Michael V, to me, his criminal activity wasn't really that bad.
That's what I'm saying.
What he did, what he had to, the price he had to pay for it. Yeah, so it's like how you separate them. Like somebody else might be like, "Oh, he fought dogs. He'll never be the greatest."
I mean, he ain't in the conversation by a long shot. But
it was just.
I feel what you're saying. Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
It depends on the person. It's gonna go back to the personal opinion, personal feels. I mean, like right, some folks can separate the artist from the man, but some folks gonna include it, in their decision on how they feel. So it depends on the person.
So Reggie said, if you judge the severity of crimes, none of the musical goats will be the goats.
And I'm glad Reggie said that because it's true. Because everybody got their own vices. Jordan was a gambler. I mean,
gambling ain't illegal.
Ain't illegal.
Ain't illegal. What you got next?
My thing was like everybody did stuff, outside of murder. What R. Kelly did or accused it, like what's worse? Like we literally talking about kids.
Oh, it's bad, no doubt.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think unless you're able to kind of just assess him based on his work, it's gonna be impossible for you to.
I mean, many days of class watching that case, and Michael didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Put the word out, Jakey.
How naive.
He got the hat with the Usher tilt on it. What you trying to say, man?
Yep.
That was
yeah.
Did R. Kelly write for Usher? I don't know. I have to look it up.
I don't think he did. He wrote for a lot of people. I was gonna say that's another feather in his cap too. Like he not only wrote hits for himself.
Yeah.
Decades. Like he was writing hits for other people too.
And I'm not denying R. Kelly greatness. I'm just not. My thing was, I just felt like the severity and the impact of his crime just knocked him down a notch.
Well, how do you? Like, what? Yeah, I think like how do you? Because then you factor in like personal life, and then you got to bring up everybody else's personal life. Mm-hmm. And some people just depending on the era, you just didn't have access to their personal life like that.
Us had a messed up personal life too.
Yeah, I mean, he did stuff he was frowned upon.
You're right.
Oh, he is, but
but that ain't illegal either. It's bad business, but I don't know.
But once again, everybody got their own vices.
What up, Brad? They do, and I mean, and we can do that. I don't have a problem with separating it. I don't have a problem with saying, okay, we're doing great as all times, and we're not gonna put the personal stuff into it. I don't have a problem with that. Because I can do that. I can say, okay, personal stuff aside, this is what it is. I don't have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I mean,
if I say personal stuff aside, then it's R. Kelly by far. Like
if we wouldn't have had brought up Christian Laettner, I would have been all for R. Kelly. But R. Kelly, but Christian got me in my feelings right about that.
So and the thing is, I think Ricardo put it here. He said, the difference. R. Kelly lives in the time of media coverage of social media. We knew about those things back in the 90s, and some of that stuff was brought up in the 90s. We just kind of pushed it under the rug and it's brought back up. Now, I mean, look at Bill Cosby, for example, the stuff that he supposedly did or did, he got convicted of. I can't say supposedly. That stuff was well before social media and whatever.
The internet, cell phones, all that
but people were making jokes about it.
Yeah.
You know, if you remember, if you go back and look at some of those comedians, even Bill Cosby himself made a joke about it on the Night Show.
Yeah.
And people just swept it under the rug.
It was almost unbelievable. Like, ain't no way he doing this out here, and he's still alive.
So, but I think we good. Comedians, Ashley, to answer your question, you asked what we've already done. The only thing we've done is we did a top 5 list for R&B, and by far everybody felt like R. Kelly was the greatest. Some of us put him number 2 because of his personal stuff, but realistically, we all really thought R. Kelly was the greatest. Then we did top 5 rap artists. We did rap artists.
Yeah.
And, I think everybody has somebody different. If we want to just at least revisit that and acknowledge that, and maybe based on some stuff that we've done that we may want to change what our top 5 is, you know.
Yeah. The other thing we do like a review of what we've done, and then kind of go into the news.
So we'll do a review of R&B and rap, and then we'll say our top or our greatest of all time comedian in its totality, from stand up to TVs, movies, whatever, All right, so we'll start with that.
Man.
Shout out to Brad Mack. Appreciate you for joining us. Hey, Renee, thank you for joining us as well. We appreciate y'all. Take some time being with us. At this time, we've had our time. Eric, did you want to do your little sponsor that we might get out there? You never know.
No, man, it ain't hit the way I thought it was gonna hit. I'm gonna have to get with them. They have to go back over the formula again. We gotta get it right before I put my name on it. My stamp of approval. So we're gonna slide this time.
Yeah, we're gonna say it though.
Oh, Reggie got one. We might have to do this with Denzel to go to GOAT.
Yeah. We got to put them
in. They got shit on him.
We got to write that one down.
Yeah.
Ricardo says type 3 in no order. R. Kelly killed 5 fights.
Hey man,
put it on the shirt. Just don't wear it out in public.
This comic, before we go, Reggie, I do want to ask, when you say go to GOATs, are you talking just actors, or are you talking about cinema, period? I am curious.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Denzel is the man.
We're going to have to put that on the list. Actors or cinema. We got to see how we're going to break that down. We'll give him a second to see, because I know there's a little delay to see if he's going to answer. Yeah, that's a good one.
I really think Denzel is the GOAT. To me, he played the same person.
There is no thinking.
You don't think he played the same person?
Huh?
What person do we play?
Who you doing?
He's out.
Have you seen his catalog of movies?
Probably not.
I'm invest in
John Q Training Day. Oh my God!
I think Denzel was rated.
More Better Blue, Lady in the Blue, Devil in the Blue Dress.
Yeah.
He done fake played the trumpet better than anybody ever than fake played the trumpet.
Oh, he played that trumpet.
Reggie say acting, cinema, or anything. He say if you put all the GOATs, Denzel's the GOAT of all GOATs. So if we take the greatest of whatever genre we will say out of all the GOATs, it's gonna be Denzel. He the GOAT of all GOATs.
I don't know about every genre, but
it's kind of tough.
He did a whole lot of comedy.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's talking about just genre. I think he's talking about, like, if you say, for example, if you say Michael Jordan the GOAT,
Oh, I get it.
Serena Williams the GOAT.
In the room, okay.
He put all the GOATs in the room. Who's the greatest GOAT? He said it's Denzel Washington.
He the Billy Goat Gruff.
He the Billy Goat.
I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I get it.
It's a tall order, man. You got to start somewhere, though.
Rude.
Why not?
Oh, there you go, Willie.
Rude. I appreciate that. Brother Snowden.
JP.
I'm still too good. Well, yeah, he has some comedy in now. It was all right.
Yeah. And it didn't earn him to go to comedy.
Hey, man.
He had to put you out there.
Hey, that's only because he owed me something that I ain't never got yet. I ain't gonna put him out there on the air like that because
Hey man, what we talking about in the beginning, man? What we talking about in the beginginning? 5, 10, 15, 20. It's all the same, man.
It's all the same, it don't matter.
It's all the same. Yeah, right. It's all the same.
All right, well, we're gonna officially close it out, man. We appreciate everybody. Shout out to Jeremy and Reggie for joining us too, and everybody else. Terrence, good job for getting in there. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you join us next week. We're gonna start off with we're gonna do a review of our R&B top 5 and our greatest R&B, also with our rap top 5. I have them written down at the house, and then we're gonna go straight into greatest comedian of all time. And that's what we're gonna rock it from there. And then we'll continue our quest to find the greatest through the month of March. Through the month of March. That's a little tongue twist right there. But like always, man, we appreciate you guys. And you ain't got to go home, but you gotta get up out of here. Deuces.
Tell people all the time, your doctor is trying to put you on something or suggest something to you. They should tell you what they're suggesting, why they're suggesting it, what this should do, and what happens is, what to look out for if things go bad. So that's kind of the long-winded answer to your question.
And that's where you come in, wives, to affirm us emotionally that we are enough and you want just us. So if you were just in that thing 30 seconds, she's good. She still loves you. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, hey, tomorrow I got to come back.